provided is for educational purposes only. Opinions presented during this show are those of Justin Fort and or his guests. It is not intended to be specific advice for any particular individual. A decision to execute any financial strategy, investment, or purchase any financial product should be made carefully after a thorough review and evaluation of recommendations and consultation with your investment advisor, representative, and or other tax or legal professional. Investment advisory services are offered through AlphaStar Capital Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Fort Wealth Management and AlphaStar Capital Management are separate entities.
And welcome to the Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. I'm Justin Fort, and as you probably know, I am a certified financial planner professional with a fiduciary duty to put my clients and your interest ahead of my own. As you know, I look at retirement planning in terms of 5 pillars. Income, so important. Lifetime income for you and your spouse. Growth, can't forget about that. Growth of assets to combat inflation. Liquidity, because you may need it, both for emergencies and opportunities. A shield against calamity, so you're not wiped out by the unexpected. And you may want to leave a legacy behind to the people and causes you love. And I'm just biased, maybe, because I'm a planner. I think it's a good idea to have a plan that includes those things that are most important to you. Well, if you want to cover all 5 of these areas and do it with the confidence that you have a licensed professional with a fiduciary duty on your side that does this day in and day out, you can simply call Fort Wealth Management at 800-886-5624. Sit down with myself. We can have you in the office, coffee, cookies, water, juice, relax, and we'll help you and we'll perform a free, no obligation 5-point review. Help you take a look at what you've got against what you will probably need to achieve your goals. And within about an hour or maybe a few visits, depending, you're probably going to know more about retirement planning, number one. And I bet you're going to have a very good idea of your current likelihood of success and, most importantly, know what needs to be done or what you can do to help close the gap, if there are gaps, in your plan in all 5 of those areas. Well, we've got an amazing show today. A couple of topics here. Did Prince fail at estate planning? Purple Rain, right? Great. A lot of great hits there. Some hits that were not even revealed. And who's going to judge the value of that? Well, maybe the government. Also, we're going to talk about Dave Ramsey. And question here, did Dave Ramsey fail to look out for your best interest? Social Security, another loophole is closed, but it is too late for you to plan. 3 5-year rules for Roth IRAs you need to know. And this impulse makes investors sell low and buy high. Not you, though, right? We don't want to have that happen. Have you experienced this? So let's get started. First off, we'll start with Prince's death. And if you've been under a rock, maybe you're not aware that the great Prince has passed and has set off an estate planning quagmire. This is an article from Investment News, Greg LaCourcie. And, just this article goes on, and I think it's important, a couple of points here with respect to estate planning that I think everyone needs to be aware of, no matter how wealthy or not, your wishes matter. And, I guess here the relevant parties, now must determine just how big Uncle Sam's bite will be from Prince's estate. In the case of a musical superstar like Prince, though, such a task is a real challenge, borderline impossible even, some say, and could spark a lengthy feud between the government and the estate. The stakes are high, given that more than half the estate's somewhere estimated $300 million value could be forfeited in tax. The difficulty comes down to placing a value on intangible assets, such as future royalties the artist may earn from a body of work. For an artist, death has an impact on their body of work. It's undeniable, says Mr. Brenhart, who worked for 12 years at the IRS as an estate tax attorney. The IRS will factor that in and say his death will blow the royalties off the charts, but his attorneys will say, wait a minute, you can't do that. Well, who gets the final say? Well, this could mean a lengthy court battle, very expensive, and who is left to pick up the pieces here? Well, relatives. And the problem is there wasn't really instructions, there wasn't really an estate plan in place. And I don't know if you have intangible assets or not. If you do, it's probably not $300 million worth, but don't miss the points made by this article. With or without a will, all your business will be public. That's a fact. With or without a will, many entities will quite possibly have more to say about what happens to your estate than you do. And it's hard to argue when you're not around to do it. This is why at Fort Wealth Management we believe in a three-pronged approach to planning involving your estate planning attorney, your CPA, and your financial planner. Each carries different keys to planning success. You don't have to be a superstar to have an estate or to be Prince or Elvis. You have an estate already. Whether you plan really is up to you. As a licensed financial planner, I will point out the strengths and weaknesses of your plan, including potential trouble for your heirs should you come and visit with me. It's very important to make sure that what you want is what will likely happen. And you can't do it if we don't have proper documentation and proper professionals helping you achieve that. You have an estate, your house, your cars, your things, your stuff. You probably have people you love that you prefer those things or stuff go to. Probably not the government. So take the time to plan for how it will all play out when you're gone. We will review your plans at no charge just for the opportunity to maybe earn your business. That's how we work. If that sounds fair, then call Fort Wealth Management at 800-886-5624. A free, no-obligation review. That's what we'll do. And if there's any weaknesses or things that we can point out, we will do so. And if there's anything that we need to do to help you, we can offer those services to you. And we'll let you know if there's something that is weak or needs to be fixed, how you might want to go about fixing them. So 800-886-5624. Don't let estate just happen. Plan for it. It's inevitable. Coming up next, has Dave Ramsey failed to look out for your best interest? Stay tuned. MainStreet.com says these lawsuits are about high 401k fees and conflicts of interest. Yes, employees are banding together to sue 401k providers. They've learned that fees can eat up nearly 30% of your retirement savings over 10 years. Can you afford that? Probably not. Call me, Justin Fort of Fort Wealth Management at 800-886-5624, 800-886-5624. And welcome back to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. Well, maybe everyone knows Dave Ramsey. You know, the get-out-of-debt guru. But he is not a licensed professional with a fiduciary duty. I think it's important for everyone to understand. And nothing against Dave Ramsey as a person. I think he's entertaining to listen to. But it's important to understand who's giving you advice and what may be behind the advice. Are there conflicts of interest? And so that's what prompted us to bring up this article and some information here that may hopefully be helpful to you. Well, this comes from lifehealthpro.com, Michael Markey. It's entitled A Closer Look at Dave Ramsey's Crusade Against Credit. Well, on September 9th, 2015, an episode of the Dave Ramsey Show, Dave discusses the subject of credit cards. He notes that 7 out of 10 times credit card companies don't thoroughly check your credit. They only spot check, and they only do this about 30% of the time. Well, Dave says this hit-or-miss credit checking encourages identity theft. Dave then urges everyone to call Zander Insurance and find out more about the identity theft protection plans they offer. The author, Michael Markey, of this article here, then reveals his own research. Well, the author says, we made dozens of phone calls to Visa, Discover, and American Express. We've been told by almost every local issuer that credit is checked every time an application is submitted. Only Visa Corporate, by way of a customer service clerk, said that sometimes credit history is not checked if the applicant holds existing accounts. So why would Dave Ramsey spout inaccurate facts about credit card issuers? Well, Zander Insurance Group offers an identity theft protection plan that runs between $75 per year for an individual and about $145 per year for a family. Dave is not shy about promoting this fact on his 11.5 million weekly listeners and readers shows. However, according to the National Crime Justice Reference Service, the odds of identity theft is about 7% for people over 16 years of age. I didn't even know it was that low until, doing some of this research here to prepare for the show today. Furthermore, this is interesting. Those who are willing to buy insurance to protect their identity more likely are conscious of sensitive personal data and therefore less likely to have their identity stolen in the first place. In 2014, only 14% of identity theft victims had any financial liability at all. Half of the 14% above were responsible for less than $100. Most people spent less than 1 day fixing the problem. 10% of those people that had their identity theft stolen actually spent more than 1 month trying to fix the issue. Well, I didn't realize the statistics were that low as far as identity theft goes. I hear the commercials for the wallet with the metal in it to protect you in case somebody walks by and all this and that. And it just seems like a real prevalent problem, but maybe the problem is promoted mostly by the people that are selling the solution for it. Well, Mr. Markey in this article then walks us through the calculations showing that Zander Insurance probably makes over $34 million per year on their identity theft products. He wraps up his article with these words. He says, "Why would the beloved Dave Ramsey suggest that everyone in his audience purchase an insurance policy in the face of such mild financial liability? Why does the wolf dress in the sheep's clothes? I can't say with Dave, but the wolf, well, it's easier to fill his belly that way." Not very, not pulling any punches there, Mr. Markey. Well, here's why I bring this up. Not to bash Dave Ramsey. I think he's done great work and helped a lot of people get out of debt. I mean, that's pretty much a fact. Dave has done fabulous work on that and family budgeting and other things. Excuse me. But according to financial writer Eric Tyson, Dave does earn a lot of money in fees from his endorsed local providers as well, and it looks like he also does very well, at least according to Mr. Markey, from other deals like the one with Zander. Now, I don't begrudge the man the right to earn a living, but here's the thing. Does Dave ever tell you on his show that he gets compensation for that estimated $34 million Zander makes on the ID theft products he helps them sell? Does he mention that he has paid thousands of dollars by each and every endorsed local provider in order to be a local provider? That's what we fiduciaries call conflict of interest. And, as a fiduciary, we can't really participate in a program like that, especially if someone referring business over in such a way is not also a fiduciary. There's just all kinds of crazy rules like that to protect you, the consumer. And of course, if there was anything like that going on, I would have to disclose that. However, Dave is not a licensed professional with a fiduciary duty, so he, gets to say what he wants. In fact, Dave Ramsey, has opinions, and he's able to say that. It's a freedom of speech. So what does that mean? What does it also really mean to you? Well, aside from fraud, like I said, Dave can say almost anything he wants about any financial issue, and he's probably not going to be accountable to any regulatory authority or entity. And he can have huge conflicts of interest like this one and never say a word. For example, according to a September 2013 Money Magazine article, Dave Ramsey's investment advice is heavy on loaded mutual funds. Well, I don't have the article in front of me, but I read something recently about Charles Schwab removing loaded mutual funds from their platform completely because of the Department of Labor rules coming into place, fiduciary standards, and all this and that. And so, think about that when you're considering purchasing a loaded mutual fund. Well, is identity theft protection for you? Maybe, maybe not. But you won't hear me making blanket endorsements. That's because as a certified financial planner professional, licensed and with a fiduciary duty, I deal with the hopes and dreams and needs of the individual, or the couple, or the family. And generally, one size fits all recommendations usually fit who? Nobody. And so therefore, I can't make those kinds of calls or recommendations. I'm not saying it's bad to have identity theft protection. Maybe you want to, and so be it. It's just good to know who's giving you advice and maybe why. That's all. If you want individualized advice provided by a fiduciary, someone who is legally obligated to put your interests ahead of his own, to disclose conflicts of interest to you, to help you understand why this or that may be best for you, well, that's what we do day in and day out at Fort Wealth Management. You can reach us at 800-886-5624. Again, if you've got a retirement plan or planning retirement ever in your life, you may want to have a free, no-obligation 5-point review. I don't know why you wouldn't. Measuring what you have now against what you'll probably need, you'll see where you stand, and we'll do our best to make sure your retirement plan is the best it can be for you, not for someone else. So call 800-886-5624. Now, when we get back, another Social Security loophole has snapped shut. Are you now locked out of the benefits of Social Security planning? Stick with us. When you go in for dental work, you don't have to wonder about things like anesthesia, sterile equipment, and expertise. They're givens. Your dentist has a medical duty to take care of you. As a certified financial planning professional, I have a fiduciary duty to take care of you. You don't have to wonder if your retirement can survive a bad illness. It's in the plan. You don't have to wonder about hidden fees or unnecessary taxes or a dozen other variables because I have a fiduciary responsibility to do what's best for you, and I'm trained to do it. If you're wondering about any of these things, you don't have a real plan, and that could destroy your retirement. Call now, Fort Wealth Management, 800-886-5624. Spend an hour with me, Justin Fort. See the science behind real planning. See how you could have a great retirement. Call now, Fort Wealth Management, 800-886-5624. And welcome back to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. So not 62, deemed filing Social Security loophole has closed. USA Today, it's an article from USA Today from Robert Powell. Well, Social Security claiming strategies are complicated. That's no lie. And those intricacies have offered some lucrative loopholes. They like to call them loopholes. I call them benefits that are being removed, but anyways. But if you turned 62 on or after January 2nd, 2016, one of those loopholes, what they call the restricted application, has closed. Unless you can find a way to make yourself older, which I think is impossible. So file and restrict, let's say, lower earning spouse, say a wife, for example, who is at full retirement age, say 66 or older, and is eligible for both retirement and spousal benefits, to collect a spousal benefit based on her higher earning retired husband's record. Okay, got that straight? Under the practice, the wife files for Social Security and then restricts her application to just spousal benefits. Meanwhile, her own benefit grows because of delayed retirement credits by up to 32% until she hits age 70. Well, that strategy may actually still be available to you. The article goes on for another 500 words giving details. I'm not going to read all 500 words. That would be ridiculous. And what's important is that you need to know that there are still more details that are not in this article that could positively or negatively impact your lifetime Social Security benefits. And that's why we do Social Security education. We hold seminars. Check it out on our website, fortwm.com, fortwm.com. Under the events tab, you can RSVP for an upcoming seminar and learn what you may need to know about Social Security to maximize your benefits. Let's help you get the most money back from the federal government possible in your lifetime. Why not? You could always give us a call if you'd like to RSVP that way at 800-886-5624. Of course, the call is free. The workshop is free. We may even feed you dinner. But what you learn is worth much more than the dinner you may receive. And, of course, you get to meet me and ask me specific questions. That's 800-886-5624. It's your money. Let us help you get more of it back. Now, when we come back, are you thinking about converting to a Roth? Don't do anything until you hear these 3 5-year rules. Stay tuned. Hi, Justin Fort, host of Retirement Journey, right here on 1370. On my show, I seldom focus on quote-unquote safe money. Why? Because when you're doing a comprehensive retirement plan for a great retirement, safe money is just not that tough to work in. If you think about it, there are really only 5 options: cash, CDs, treasuries, fixed annuities, and fixed indexed annuities. They're all safe because they're all insured, so we pick the best, buy, and move on. As a fiduciary, I know that there's much more to a comprehensive retirement plan than just the safe money part. If all your current advisor wants to talk about is safe money, then they're not thinking of the big picture. And real planning always looks at the big picture. Get a real retirement plan from a trained fiduciary. Call me, Justin Fort, at Fort Wealth Management, 800-886-5624. That's 800-886-5624. And welcome back to the Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about planning for the happy and successful retirement you deserve. Well, 3 5-year rules for Roth IRAs you may want to know or need to know. Number 1, 5-year rule for penalty-free distributions of converted funds. So, if you convert your traditional IRA to a Roth, maybe a good idea tax-wise, but just know that you may have to wait some time before taking money out. If you then take a distribution, that distribution will always be tax-free as long as you wait. And, of course, you need to be over 59 and a half. So 5-year rule for that. Of course, there are exceptions to this. Number 2, 5-year rule for tax-free distributions of earnings. So if you set up a Roth, you may need to wait some time, about 5 years, before taking out the earnings tax-free. Of course, there's more rules there, and it can be quite complicated, so seek advice from a tax professional. Number 3, 5-year rule for beneficiaries. So the third 5-year rule here that applies to Roth IRAs will affect you if you are a beneficiary. Under the rules, named beneficiaries have the options of stretching required minimum distributions, what you have to take from inherited Roth IRAs, over your life expectancy, or use a 5-year rule payout. Of course, more details and complications, so visit with a tax professional. And of course, if you want additional help with whether or not converting to a Roth or adding to a Roth, or what a Roth is, all of those things, feel free to give us a call at 800-886-5624. Make an appointment. Come on in. We can talk about it, and I'd love to try our best to help you. Now, market timing, this is one of our big philosophical no-nos. Getting in and out, cash to stock to back and forth, trying to, buy low and sell high is the optimum strategy, sure, but not very many people do it well. In fact, very, very few. Even professionals can get this right. And so we normally recommend that our clients not use this kind of a strategy. Well, there's an article here from CNBC.com, Susie Poppick, where she says that emotion might be your enemy. And I think this is true. More and more I'm meeting with people that tell me that preservation is now priority above growth, because you've got the assets, they better be there because you're going to need the income. And so trying to time markets and avoid losses by just smelling the air or reading the tea leaves may not be a low-stress way of living your retirement dreams. And especially if, according to this article and others, if you are more inclined to be risk-averse, then you may not be able to stay the course as the market continues to be and may be more volatile as time progresses. So often it's a good idea to have a plan in place that's solid regardless of the market conditions, so you don't have to worry about trying to use timing, in my opinion, a very poor strategy, to try to navigate and have the money you need to live on. Better to have a more solid plan than that and secure your retirement income plan with solid, dependable assets, insurance products, things like that. There are ways to do it so that you can avoid market timing, because generally even fund managers have a very difficult time trying to beat their benchmark indexes, as you probably are aware. So give me a call at 800-886-5624. We can help you not worry about market timing and really rely on more sound, proven strategies and philosophies. And again, it's really all about the 5 pillars approach: income, growth, liquidity, a shield against calamity, and leaving a legacy. Make an appointment, 800-886-5624. You may be amazed at what you learn and what you never knew. And as always, I wish you all the best of luck. Take care.